Hi, it's Chris, and I'm here to talk to you about your final paper. Definitely look at the syllabus. I'm not going to tell you anything different than what you're going to see on your syllabus. And you're going to need to refer to that to make sure that you have the right date for submitting it, which is due no later than noon on that date. Be sure you let me know ASAP, like right now, if you're going to have trouble getting that paper in. If there's an emergency, you need to let me know as soon as that emergency arrives. What you're doing is designing a comprehensive disciple making plan. You might think of it as Christian education, but we really want to take this to the next level. This is about making disciples, about moving people through that path that we're going to make sure that we incorporate the move from pre-Christian to disciple to missionary. It talks about, or the syllabus does mention apostle, but I not everybody, as I've said, not everybody is called to be an apostle, but a missionary indeed. So you want to incorporate in your plan how you're going to help people along that Christian disciple missionary pathway. Be sure that to take into account leader recruitment, how you're going to do that, how you're going to train and mentor people, how people will be developed and apprenticed, right? Brought alongside people that are doing this and get it, understand it, taking them to a next level. Sometimes those people are the ones who are working in the ministry right now. How you're going to mobilize people, how you're going to coach them, how you're going to evaluate them. You want to work within all of those scopes. So be thinking about that. It may not be for your church necessarily if you're not in a position of leadership or you don't know your congregation very well. If you're not in a position of leadership or that has influence in some way in your education program, then think of yourself as a consultant. If somebody were to say, hey, what did you learn in that education and leader development course that might apply to us here? Then you'd be able to say, let me share my final project and just toss this out with you and see what you think, and then have that conversation with them. Or yeah, I think that's the best way to approach that. Detail your next steps, how you're going to implement this, who do you need to talk to about it, how are you going to talk about it, and then with that implementation, when are you going to have that conversation with them? Guidelines, single space, no more than 1 inch, margins all around, times 12 or Arial 10 point. I personally prefer Arial, 8 to 12 pages. You should be able to do this probably in 8 to 10 pages, depending on how you do your headers. I really want to see a plan. The more you've got either bullet pointed or laid out in blocks, if you will, then the more useful that's going to be for both of us. We don't need a lot of not a lot of words. We want to produce something you can see and move from. Implementation, that might be a separate page of this is what I'm going to do and when, kind of that bullet point, like you would with goal planning, goal setting, and the steps to achieve those goals. Particularly if you are going to be implementing this in your congregation. If you have this in your portfolio in one way or another, then let's do it. Let's make it happen. How are you going to do that? It may take you a year to ramp up. So do a 3-year plan. What's going to happen and when? Be sure to cite your resources. I'm not a stickler for what citation device you use, how you do that. Just make sure that you take and cite what's yours is yours and what someone else's is someone else's, so that they get that credit. And I've already said, refer to your syllabus for the due date. And we are going to be in great shape. Thank you so much for an incredible semester. Thank you so much for your work that's gone into this paper. I am trusting that the work that you've been doing all along in this class now will get to come into what's the word I want to use? Like into a focus, can become completed, if you will, can manifest here in this final paper. So have some fun with it. Please don't stress over it. Have fun with it and get ready to make a difference in the life of your church or another church, and in so doing, making a difference in the life of those and of the kingdom. All right. Thank you so much. I will look forward to reading your paper. Bye-bye.